let's look at how to create a histogram. In our previous section up here, we first broke our data into bins and then made a frequency chart. So for each of these bins, we created a chart that told us how many numbers fell into each group. So what we're going to do now is create something that looks like a bar graph. And so we'll first create our axes going across and going up, and we're going to label it. The upper one we're going to call frequency, and that's going to line up just like how we have frequency here in this table. The reason that is the height of the bar is the number of things in that category, so that's why it's frequency. Across the bottom, it's whatever you're doing. So the number of free throws in this case is what we're looking at. So you would just put that. Whatever type of information you're dealing with, you would put here. And what that's going to represent is the boundaries here on your bins, 3.5, 6.5, 9.5. Those are all going to be labeled here along the bottom. So let's give ourselves a little bit more room. And along the bottom, we're going to make little tick marks that clarify where our boundaries are. And so you can make little marks all the way up and across here. And then what you're going to do is label them with the boundaries. You're going to start with the lowest one, so in this case 3.5, and you're going to work your way up, 6.5, 9.5, and so forth. So I'm going to pause this and write these in while you do the same. And so once I have all of my numbers filled in along my tick marks down below, I'm going to do the exact same thing going up with the frequency. And this time, I'm only going to go as high as my highest number in frequency. In this case, it's 4. So the highest frequency I have is 4. So I'm going to do 2, 4, and then fill in the gaps. And then you would just label each of those numbers, writing in the value here. And you can even put a 0 at the bottom if you'd like. You can put a 0 down there. So that's the frequency. That's how many there are in each of these groups. Then you need to actually create your bars. And in a histogram, unlike a bar graph where you leave a little gap between the bars, in a histogram, all the bars are going to touch. So in my first one, I have 1. So I create this going up, and I get to 1. Let me just grab a different tool here. And in my second bar, between 6.5 and 9.5, I have 2. So I'm going to go, keeping the bars touching each other, I'm going to go all the way up to 2. And then my next group has 1 again. My 12.5 to 15.5 group has 3, so I'm going to go all the way up to 3. And do your best to keep your lines straight. I know mine are not perfect here. 15.5 to 18.5, we have 4, so we go up even higher. And then 18.5 to 21.5, height of 2. And then the last group is also a height of 2. Now, it's possible that there will be gaps that have 0. It doesn't need to be that every single one of these groups has 1. It's very, very possible that you could get a group that is 0 and you'd have a couple bars, a gap, and then some more bars. That definitely could happen. What you'll be able to then do with this graph, and we'll look at this in a minute, is try to determine what the general pattern is with the shape. And the more data you have, the better it'll be for analyzing that basic shape to see if it's symmetrical, skewed, or can tell you any other information.